Trigger warning. I write about suicide. There it is. Trigger warning. So that's.
We love you.
Thank you. Yeah, and suicide's not that scary. Don't tell my therapist I said that. I'm really okay, guys. Okay. So I will start with something So I have a few journals that I actually kept when I was in the hospital. One journal I have actually somewhere floating around. Oh, it's like right over there. Actually, my first time going into the hospital, I wrote from the time that I went into the ER, the first week of me being in the hospital. And everyone I met, I was like a little social butterfly in the hospital, which is funny because now I'm I was probably super manic. I was like, wow, I was so inspiring. No, you were probably manic. But yeah, so I was in the hospital just talking a little bit about where I've been. In 2016, I was in the hospital for a little while. I had a wellness check on me, and then I was on a 5150 because they didn't feel like I was stable. So that was my first go out of 5150, and I've had 12 since. I think I got it down. I'm just kidding. It's a really dark joke. It's wild because last night I actually was listening to the police scanner. I feel like a grandpa. What? There was a helicopter. Me and Brooke were listening to the police scanner in my house.
You're like Batman.
Yeah, we were listening to the police scanner because I was like, there's a helicopter going around my neighborhood. What's going on? And I was reading all the police codes, and I was like, oh, 50, blah, blah, blah. Someone has a knife. I was like, is this legal? And I was looking, and it says 5150, mental case.
Wow.
Mental case? Okay, let's talk about, I'm not even going to get into stigma because we don't got time for that. But I'm super against the stigma in mental health because people meet me and they have no idea. And then I tell them, it's wild because I'll get in an Uber and they're like, where am I picking you up from? Before I had my car when I was taking a bus to work. And I'm like, oh, I work at the Psych. So I work at Psych. And they're like, oh, you work with the loony people. And I'm like, yeah, I was in the hospital last year. It was a doozy. It was pretty rough. And then they don't really know what to say. And that's my point. It's pretty ridiculous. It could happen to any one of us, honestly. So last year, I thought I had myself all stable and ready, which I guess none of us are really ever stable. And the love of my life, we were on and off since I was 16. My first kiss, my only kiss until I was 22. We were going to be together forever, and last June 24th, I got the call that she had taken her life by gun, and now all these shootings are so triggering for me. And after I found out that happened at work, I walked out and never went back, and ended up checking myself in and had a few attempts myself because I wanted to be with her. And it's still something I'm processing. So some of my poetry I'm going to read tonight, there's two that I'm going to talk about. One is when I was in the hospital, it's called Welcome to the Jungle. It's super short. And then the other about, this is where I'm trigger warning, guys. It's a poem that I wrote after I was trying to attempt to kill myself in the hospital, called 15 Minutes, because they do checks every 15 minutes on the bedrooms. And it's about the minute countdown of what was going through my head when I thought I was going to kill myself in the hospital. So, and then I have two little ones that I wrote today. When I heard that there were supposed to be kids here, I called it a kid's poem. It's not really a kid's poem. I thought I'd give it a go, and I was like, this is a little dark. But I love kids, guys. You need a babysitter. Oh, I'm stable. No, y'all, for real. I babysit every kid in San Diego. My thing is I'm going to raise a kid the way I was not raised, and I will never be my mother. And so, just to say, I'm really good with kids. Okay. So this is called Welcome to the Jungle. It's just something little. Like I said, these are the first two poems I'm going to do are poems that I actually wrote in the hospital. See markers because they don't let you have pens just in case. So welcome to the jungle. I'm going to write a book about you one day, okay? Can I use your name? Sure. Okay. Esmeralda. Esmeralda teared up this morning. She roamed the halls looking for my name tag on the room door. She couldn't find it. She asked a nurse where I was, and they said they didn't know. She ended up finding my room in the back. She forgot I was on suicide prevention. Here, that means that there's a huge window looking into my room for nurses to watch me 24/7. I can't go to the bathroom alone. I can't shower alone. Lucky me, huh? I'm not complaining, I guess. I mean, right now, it's all that's keeping me alive. This is my story for now. Unstable, me and a bunch of unstable people. Welcome to the jungle. Okay. So that's not even a huge poem that I always read.
That's amazing.
I've never read that before, but there was a friend that I met in the hospital, and she wasn't allowed to use pens. In the hospital, you're not allowed to use pens. And so the recreational therapist would put ink in a little cup, and then she would fold a piece of paper into a little corner, and then she would dip it, and then she would paint. And guys, I will pass around some of her art to you. It is the most amazing art. She's featured in all kinds of pizza shops, and she's an amazing artist. And in the hospital, she was so quiet, and you would never know. She actually painted a picture of me. And we stayed friends after the hospital, and I'm not going to point her out, but she's here tonight.
What's her name?
Esmeralda, I said in the phone.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Who's listening now? Just kidding, I'm not saying that. No, just kidding.
I'm that guy.
No, yeah, but she's here tonight, and I'm super thankful for that, because it's so wild from where we came from and where we're at today. It's pretty cool. Okay, so the next thing. See, this is like, so when you go into the hospital, they take your phone and stuff, and you can only use this little phone that's like attached to the wall, and this is like all my phone numbers that I wrote down of my support system, so I wouldn't lose it. It's so like, guys, this is real life. This is what happens in a psych hospital. I love stuff like that, like super sentimental. People are probably like, oh, okay, so this is called Every 15 Minutes. The first one I did was super short. I've never done it before. I just knew Esmeralda was here and I wanted to bust it out. And then this is something I think I've read to Sunny only.
Oh, wow.
So I keep touching my lips to the mic, and then it keeps touching my chin. So if my chin is purple, I know. Or I don't. Okay, thank you. Okay. Every 15 minutes. So they just left. As the door slowly and shut, my life flashed before my eyes. Minute 1. I wondered how many words I could squeeze onto the small piece of paper I ripped out of my R.H. Stein book. Hymn 11, page 67 is the poem on the paper. So dramatic. Minute 2. Writing, can't forget to put my sister's name in a letter. She'd be damned. She demanded an explanation. Since we have the same mom or whatever, she deserves more than nothing, I guess. Minute 3. Do I want to just pass out and die? I've got to do this right. All the people who say I do this for attention will be right. What do I want? Is this really what I want? I ask myself. Minute 4. Yes, of course I want this. I'm so tired of my mind. But I've got to hurry. Minute 5. I can hear them announcing fresh air patio break. What do I do? I just want, what do I want? One more patio break before I do this? No, the life out there might remind me of too much life, and life and death don't really mix well together. Although it takes darkness to see light. My brain hurts. Minute 6, still no tears streaming. Am I being impulsive? So many questions. Minute 7, I finished the letter. The darkness in the room is swallowing me. Minute 8, minute 9, I hear people laughing outside of my door. Oh, the irony of what's going on in the room on the other side. Room 221 is my room number. I could just walk out and ask for help, but my body won't let me. My fucking body won't let me. Minute 10. So the plan is to use my leggings. They don't allow ropes or strings of any sorts here, but for some reason my mind finessed a loophole. This room is suicide proof. I can't hang myself anywhere, but if I put my leggings around my neck tight enough, I can be done. Minute 11. Can they see the note I left? I need to make sure it gets out to my loved ones. Oh yeah, I have loved ones. I feel like my mind is playing games with me. Minute 12. The tears have arrived. If I'm going to do this, I've got to do this now. I've got only 3 minutes. Minute 13. Pulling. I feel blood rushing to my face, and I stop, grab my pillow, and hold it to hide my neck. My fucking roommate just walked into the room. Minute 14. Minute 15. My door flings open. Check. Autumn, you doing okay? Yes, I say. Fucking why'd I say yes? So they just left and the door shut. So they just left and the door slowly and shut. My life flashed before my eyes. Minute 1. Oh, it's Taco Tuesday. Have some tacos. Actually, don't leave till I'm done. Oh, he got up.
We fucking lost.
Nope.
Sorry, I called you out. Okay, so here's the kids' poem, the little kids' poem I thought I wrote. That's not really a poem that I wrote today. And then I'm going to do one more poem that I always do, and then I'll be done. Because this is taking a long time, and my mouth is dry, and I'm hot, and sweating, and wondering what y'all think of me.
You're amazing. Thank you.
Oh, wait. Never mind. I'll do this one. Lies. It's called Lies. Oh.
The girl that's in prostitution is really
The girl that's in prostitution. But you do the sex poems.
But that one.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Lies. I'm happy that my therapist says I'm too stable and I need to transition out. I feel so comfortable in my skin, it's overwhelming. I'm so good at receiving compliments from my friends. I'm really good at keeping my friends for longer than a year and not compulsively blocking them on social media when I get hurt. I feel unconditionally loved by so many, it's a blessing. I feel so blessed to be on this stage. I feel so blessed to be on this stage, not fearful of what anyone thinks of me in my poetry. Lies. Okay, that's not. It was super small and bold.
We got you.
I actually went home sick today from work because I was a little nervous about tonight. Don't tell my boss this year. I don't think I told her. So a kid's poem. And then I'll end with my last one. A kid's poem. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. The world doesn't stop, no, just because you're in it. The reality of no longer being a kid dawned on me the other day on my way to work, listening to the news report yet another shooting. Kids are learning how to duck and cover now before their ABCs, and it seems like the world just keeps swimming, just keeps swimming, just keeps swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim. Swim through the world whose popularity is calculated by likes, whose love is earned by video games, bought and electronics sold. We are in a crisis and the earth is bleeding fiery red, and we just sit at our 40 hours a week jobs, struggling to pay rent, drinking alcohol at events like tonight, listening to poets try and make sense of it all. I am always trying to make sense of it all. I'm wondering when it will make sense. Yeah, I like putting music in my poetry, so.
I like it too.
We love your voice.
Oh,
Voice, your voice is
oh,
awesome.
shit. I'm so hot, y'all. Y'all don't even know. And I mean sweaty. Okay. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrows. But if we are wise, you know that there's always tomorrow. Reality. Tonight, a young girl will go missing, dragged to the forest or tossed into the lake, and what do? We eat, shop, complain, we eat, oh my gosh, guys.
You got it.
We eat, shop, complain, sleep, drink, smoke, smile, pretty girl, until tonight you will be raped. She cries and screams as each flock of clothing is ripped off of her without her consent. Somewhere in America, a woman is raped every 2 minutes. This epidemic not only affecting the young, but the old. In 1995, 800,000 women were victims of rape or sexual assault. Guys in their cat calls, housing, sick, taunting, think that they have the right, but tonight we're not flaunting. Put your personals back in your pants and your tongues locked away, because today I'm standing up for those who think they don't have a say. Try and touch me. Approximately 28% of victims are raped by husbands or boyfriends, 35% by acquaintances, and 5% by other relatives. Looking for a new day when the sunrise turns to gray and tears for the eyes of the ones who are hurting, burning, and drowning. On this day, a young girl left to die by a known pedophile that has slipped through the cracks one too many times. October 1st, 2010, R.I.P. Morgan Bell. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Thank you. Next up we have Lou. On deck we have Sanity. And then I mentioned the picture that she drew with the little paper that she dipped in a little thing of ink. I'm actually going to pass my phone around so you guys can see that, because I'm just super you never know who you're sitting among, guys. So yeah, give it up for Luke.
Thank you. To follow
Little story. So I went to beauty school before my whole life changed. I was in beauty school. I went to Paul Mitchell. I graduated. I'm a licensed hairdresser. I keep up with that because I'm in debt because of it, so I might as well pay the $50 a year to keep it up. Yeah. I haven't even like started paying on that debt. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I make so much money now, I'm so stable. And I'm like, wait, my loan's still deferred. Yeah, real life. So a cool story, when I was in beauty school, the reason I went to beauty school was because I wanted to work as a therapist. And I was like, that's too much money. And so what's another way to do therapy and be artistic? I was like, go to beauty school and there's no boundaries. So you just do their hair and talk about life and then send them all the way and charge them money for it. It's therapy, right? Like, okay, you're doing great, yeah. So I went to beauty school. My teachers knew that I loved helping people. And there was a woman that had came in. She had been beaten by her boyfriend. Paul Mitchell School, San Diego's downtown. And my teacher called me out of class and was like, we want you to work with this woman. And I was like, okay, sounds good. I show up. A guy had shaved off a lot of her hair. Both of her eyes were black. She had some blood on her head. Like, it was pretty intense. And my teacher was like, Autumn can do this. I was like, okay, cool. And I felt really honored, actually. And so I showed up. I went down to the front desk in the salon, and I had one of my friends start on her hair. And I ran to the store. I don't know, I think I like accidentally found some child support money or something like that from my birth father, and I was like living it up and had like thousands of dollars. Or maybe it was like give back money from FAFSA. I don't remember, but I was living it up. I was like, I got like $2,000, I'm about to buy the world. Yeah, I was like 21, I thought that was a lot of money. And so I went to the store and I got her like a whole new outfit, new backpack, new shoes, and a dozen roses. So I went back to school, I did her makeup, covered up the bruises, and I showed her all the things that I got her. I was like, here's like roses. She was like, honey, I'm homeless. Like, what am I gonna do with a dozen roses? I was like, I don't know, sell them, like make some money. Got her some new clothes, some new shoes, like a little Betsy Johnson bag, and it was super awesome. I have pictures from that day. Now I'm like, why did we take pictures? That's so degrading. Like, you know, you wake up a little bit after a few years. And then I'm gonna fast forward to 2016 when I was in the hospital. So like I said, I was like the little social butterfly. For my first time in the hospital, social butterfly, I was friends with everyone. I literally was like, I'm gonna write a book. And during like lunch times, people would be like, let me hear the story about me when I wanted to jump off the bridge. And I just like read it to them. And like 162 stitches, 5 staples, like all the weird like stories about people's lives that I had that were not weird, actually. I don't know why I said that, because it's real life. And so many of them had such wild stories. And so I was friends with everyone. Like I said, I want to write a book one day, but I don't think that's ethical because it's everyone else's stories, not my own. Maybe I'll talk about my own stories. I've changed their names. I did. When I wrote, I changed all their names. One's like Sergeant, one's like Boston, because he had an accent. I'm like, Boston did this. But there was one woman that would not come out of her room. She would not talk to me. And I was so bothered by this. I was like, I'm in a psych hospital. She needs to be my friend. Like, doesn't she know I need help? Like, we're both in this together, honey. Like, come on. I'm like, why isn't this lady talking to me? I'm so confused. And I would hear that she had been there for months, actually. She was on conservatorship, which is like, I work in a psych hospital now with people in conservatorship. And so I heard that she'd been there for months, and I was like, but I want to be her friend. I don't care if she's grouchy. Like, I'd play the piano. I'd be playing Lean on Me. Like, I really thought I was in a movie. Like, everybody all together now, lean on me. Like, we're all misfit toys on the island of misfit toys. You know, like, first being a wallflower all the way. Thinking of girl interrupted. How am I going to break out, guys? Like, there's no way to break out of there. I didn't know what I was doing, but I thought I did. And so one day this girl came out, and she sat with this mom. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna go sit with that mom too. Like, we're best friends. Like, I'm about to meet this woman. And so I go and sit down with this mom, and the mom looks at me and it's like, oh, honey, I like your hair. Like, it was like super short and blonde. And I was like, yeah, I work at Paul Mitchell. Like, I went to Paul Mitchell School. And this grouchy old lady looks over and she's like, oh, I went to Paul Mitchell once. This girl bought me new clothes and a dozen roses. And I looked at her and I was like, Greta. And she was like, Autumn. And she cried, and we cried. And turns out she was the same woman, obviously, that I had met at my school and helped about a year prior to that. She's like, why are you in here? Like, what are you doing here? And I was like, well, life gets hard, you know? So anyways, I thought that was a cool story. Because you never know. Like you never know who you're going to help. You never know who you're going to run into in this life. And like, you guys saw that picture I passed around, like literally that was done with a piece of paper dipped in some ink. And like, she's sitting among you guys and y'all don't know, like y'all never know. So I'm just so blown away by that fact and the fact that I ran back into her.
Esmeralda!
Yep, I still don't know. It's like my little secret, I love it. Our little secret. Okay, cool. So next up we have Kelsey. Whoop, whoop. Bringing Kelsey up to the mic. Please. Yeah. Kelsey, come on. So, like I said, Kelsey inspired me to write.
You know I'm getting you back on Thursday, right?
Voice.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom when she's ready to give me back. But so we wrote a song one day.
One day.
One night.
Oh, wait, y'all, one time I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be like the white version of Eminem, you know? I'm gonna sing that real quick, 2 seconds. I wrote this one night. I just got super inspired by that guy that was rapping. It was like, you can want what you, this isn't our song.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like, you can want what you want till the want is no more. You can all scream and cry. You can all hit the floor. And nobody adores the feeling of being alone, but in the middle of the night, hopefully you remember home, dome, place full of gnomes, your heart full of bones, T-bone, home, reminisce what I missed the last kisses it is, because your mouth full of shit, yeah, your mouth full of dude. I'm a lesbian, so I don't say that word. Sorry. Kelsey's like, it was her worker. It was a mental health worker. This is why I'm the way that I am.
That was good.
No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. Ooh, look at me turning off the mic. Okay, so we wrote this song one day. It became the Urban Beats theme song. We've performed it all over San Diego and all the kinds of mental health events. And we wrote it together. I think we went line per line. Like, I did a line, Kelsey did a line, I did a line. Usually we have Alex here, who's the founder of Urban Beats.
He was not the founder.
Well, I call him the founder. I don't know. Maybe you were the founder. I don't know.
We all came into a program that was planned.
Okay, well, whatever. It sounded better the way I said it, so I'm just kidding. So this is a song that we wrote together. And we're going to sing it together.
Oh, we're going to start together.
And you're gonna start and close your name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. How do you want to do it?
Thank you.
We'll do it twice. Okay.
I'm not starting. Singing?
Oh, let's start singing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Mirror staring back at me. Wonder why I feel insanity. My heart, my soul, my mind. Why I gotta figure out my time. My life's ain't no straight line. Bumps and bruises only help me find the conqueror I was waiting to be. My failures help to set me free. Gotta build myself from the ground up. I am crowned up. I found love. No one can make me but me. I've tried, failed, and found myself. I tried, failed, and found myself. I tried, failed, and found myself. I tried, failed, and found myself. Mirror staring back at me. Wonder why I feel insanity. My heart, my soul, my mind. Why I gotta figure out my time. My life's been no straight line. Bumps and bruises only help me find the conqueror I was waiting to be. My failures help to set me free. Gotta build myself from the ground up. I'm crowned up. I found love.